She might have a question.
Where do we start?
Where's my report? Claudia.
No, I.
Thank you. Ahora sí.
I will now call to order the public hearing of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Ms. Delia Saenz, Mr. Camarillo, Ms. Aldrete, Dr. Harris, Dr. Zavaleta is absent, and so is Mr. Garcia. Also present is our president, Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. And I guess I'll call on you, Alejandra, for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Indivisible.
Thank you. Public hearing on proposed 2024 ad valorem tax rate for Texas Southmost College District. This is a public hearing to give the taxpayers an opportunity to express their views on board's proposed tax rate. Do I need to read the whole thing? You're going to read it?
I've got it here with me. I can read that.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez, Mr. President, I want to give you all the guidelines for public participation in board meetings real briefly. It is expected that speakers will observe the commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste. Resorting to personalities will be ruled out of order, as will the use of intemperate, abusive, defamatory, or other inappropriate language or actions. Each speaker will write his or her name and contact information in the sign-in sheet provided and specify the agenda item or topic to be addressed. If an item is not on the agenda, the discussion will be limited to placing the topic item on the agenda for a subsequent meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.042. Each speaker should wait for his or her name to be called before addressing the board. Speakers are requested to use a centrally located microphone and podium when available. Prior to addressing the board, all speakers should state their name, address, and organizational affiliation, if any. Comments should be addressed to the chairperson, not to individual board members, the president, or members of the audience. When a specific topic is under consideration, questions and comments should be confined to the matter under discussion and not extend to other matters. The board shall allot no more than 30 minutes for public comment portion of the meeting, and a total of no more than 12 minutes for any specific agenda item, and 3 minutes per person. If there are more than 4 individuals wishing to speak on a specific agenda item, those signing the request must allocate the time amongst themselves so as not to exceed 12 minutes per agenda item. A complaint against a specific employee or officer of Texas Southmost College shall be heard in a closed meeting as authorized by the Texas Government Code Title 5, Section 551.0741 and 2. If your topic concerns a complaint against a specific employee or officer, please note this on the sign-in sheet. The presiding officer or designee shall determine whether a person addressing the board has attempted to resolve a matter administratively through resolution channels established by policy. If not, the presiding officer or designee shall refer the individual to the appropriate policy to seek resolution, which are TSC policies for employee complaints, DGBA, for student complaints, FLD, and for public complaints, GB. Board members may interrupt a speaker for the purposes of clarification and information. Speakers are requested not to repeat points already made by previous speakers. Written statements may be received by the board in addition to or in lieu of oral presentations. Madam Chair, that concludes my presentation.
Mr. Perez, thank you very much, but you were ahead. We were in the hearing,
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do that.
but thank you.
Okay. I apologize to all of you.
You're gonna have to read it again.
No, you don't have to read it again.
I wish somebody would have stopped me.
No, it needed to be read anyway. So, anyway, this is a public hearing to give the taxpayers an opportunity to express their views on the board's proposed tax rate. The board is proposing the following tax rates: a maintenance and operations tax rate of 0.093166 and a debt tax rate of 0.021951 per 100,000 valuation. The 2024 notice of tax rates in Texas Southmost College District has been published on the TSC website since August 13, 2024, and in the local newspaper. In order to provide opportunity for all who wish to comment, we have a 3-minute time limit on comments. As I call your name, please come up. We don't have any further, okay. All right, to do that. And we don't have any public speakers for the hearing? For the hearing, no. Okay. So, ¿dónde estamos acá? There aren't any speakers. Okay, now I call on Dr. Figueroa to present the information on the proposed tax rate before the first speaker is called. Oh, we don't have any speakers, so Dr. Figueroa, you're on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, President Rodriguez, I will be presenting the tax rate. I'll go real quick, given that we don't have anybody. As presented before, the tax rate consists of two pieces, the M&O rate and the debt service rate. Those rates that we have to present to the board were the voter approval rate, the prior year rate, and the no new revenue rate. The rate that was proposed in the newspaper and is eligible for adoption at the next board meeting is the voter approval rate, M&O, as you mentioned earlier, of 0.093166 and debt rate of 0.021951, a total of $115.12 for every $100,000 valuation.
I guess I can adjourn this public hearing and we'll vote on the item at the next board meeting, which will continue right now. Okay? I need a motion to adjourn this hearing.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Camarillo, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Mrs. Delia Sáenz, Dr. Norma Lopez Harris, Ms. Alejandra Aldrete, Mr. Edward Camarillo, myself, Dr. Zabaleta, and Mr. Garcia are absent. Also present is our president, Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. We're not going to do the Pledge of Allegiance again. Okay, and we have public comment. Mhm. You did hear the attorney, right? Go ahead.
Thank you,
Who's gonna
Madam
keep
Chair, President Rodriguez, members of the board. Thank you. I just wanted to say that this first week has been incredible for Texas Southmost College. We started the week strong with the opening of the room for Sam Houston for transfer students, and I'm really happy that that happened this week. I've been watching you. I've been watching some of the board members, and you have been engaged in the community. That's what I like. And I have seen that the soccer is our priority right now, to get funds and for them to get more professional matches, and we need a stronger soccer team so we can, in the near future, we can have more sports like volleyball, basketball, and other sports. But I want to thank every single one of you that made it happen with that Sam Houston deal. I appreciate it so much. And I knew something new about Dr. Rodriguez. He was a graduate at Sam Houston. Sir, you have inspired me in these few days so I can reach my goal and graduate for Sam Houston as you did. I want to say the same words that I said to Madam Chair that day, and it's that you and Texas Alamos College creates leaders. We can see it in our community, in the Brownsville commissioners, like Roy de los Santos. He graduated from Texas Alamos College. Mr. Camarillo, you graduated from Texas Alamos College. Now you are leading us on your lead. Also, Dr. Norma Lopez Harris, you graduated from this institution and you're leading us to become leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Other than I attended a very inspirational, but I cannot remember his name. The Border Patrol brought a motivational speaker,
Kevin Tutt.
Kevin.
Tutt.
My God, that was an amazing, I hope.
For where?
No, that was a. Dave. That was a beautiful experience. Talk about inspiration. If you ever feel like you can't do it anymore, you think about that man that weighed 190 pounds after the grenade exploded on him. He weighed 90 pounds and has gone through 60-some surgeries and is moving on. And talk about motivation and allowing us to say, oh, my head hurts, I'm not gonna do it, right? So I can't go to the board meeting today because my head hurts. So it was an amazing, Dr. Fuentes, you did really well. It was very, very nice. Thank you for inviting me. That's all I have, other than we had a great convocation. We had a lot of fun. And as always, it's a great way to start the new semester. Thank you. Mr. President, you have a report for us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, trustees. As Madam Chair mentioned, we did gather together with our campus community at convocation on Monday of last week to kick off the fall semester. During the event, I took the opportunity to revisit the roadmap that we've been constructing for Texas Southmost College over the past 7 years. By doing this, I provided a common context for the work that we have done, as well as the work still ahead of us. In addition, I showcased not only the milestones we have reached, but also the great accomplishments we have reached together. The review served as confirmation that we are on the right track as we continue to move forward with purpose and direction in service to our communities. We also had a motivational speaker, Kevin Tutt, not as inspirational as yours, I'm just saying. And then he likes to be called King Tut. But he was a good man. He's a good man. He did challenge our employees to maximize their own potential, as well as that of our students. It was a great way to begin the new academic year, and thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair Sines, Secretary Lopez Harris, and Trustee Camarillo for participating in our convocation. I would like to recognize 3 employees for their service and recognitions they have received. Dr. Gisela Figueroa, Vice President of Finance Administration, who will participate in the SAC COC Review Committee this fall. She will lend her expertise to the committee evaluating Qatar ball. I think am I pronouncing it correctly? Oh, wow, all right. Qatar ball.
She's going to do it from here, though.
From here, no, she's
not
going to go.
going
Oh, no, Valley Community College, which is located in Hickory, North Carolina. Thank you, Dr. Figueroa, for accepting this invitation and for your service to higher education community, and extend my apologies for probably mispronouncing their community college name. Dr. Celia Flores Fais, chemistry instructor, was recognized for 10 years of service as an advisor of TSC's Alpha Mu chapter of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. On behalf of the Scorpion community, I thank her for her dedication in ensuring that our students have access to the scholarships and leadership training that comes with earning membership into Phi Theta Kappa. And finally, Mr. Oscar Hernandez was elected to participate in a new program established by the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board in adapting to innovative artificial intelligence facilitated learning network program. This program consisted of 4 sessions held over the summer. Participants learned from industry and institutional experts, engaged in interactive discussions, and collaborated with peers who are also navigating the challenges of adapting to AI innovation. So thank you.
You know, we infiltrate anywhere we can.
Oh, yeah, pretty shameless. It's good. And they bring all the information back and then we put it into practice, so it's a good thing. And then you vote for us to go buy our toys and do good things. I'm also pleased to announce that we received approval from SAC-COC to offer 2 more of our programs of study online: the Associate of Applied Science degree in Cybersecurity and the Associates of Science in Allied Health Education. TSC is dedicated to supporting students with flexible scheduling and more cost-effective ways to attend college. We now offer 7 fully online programs of study and 10 additional programs that are hybrid and blended. Now, we do continue to graduate students from our workforce training programs throughout the summer. On July 19th, we celebrated our patient care technicians with a pinning ceremony. Thank you, Trustee Camarillo, for participating in the event. On August 8th, we held the licensed vocational nursing pinning ceremony.
I was there too.
Really? No, you were at the licensed vocational nursing pinning ceremony. And I do want to thank our Madam Chair and once again, Trustee Camarillo, for participating in that ceremony. So thank you, guys. I want to offer my thanks to all the WTC faculty and staff under the leadership of Richard Mesquias for their role in connecting our community members with careers that are in demand. Earlier this month, we hosted the Texas A&M University Kingsville Education Department for a visit to our campus. We have an MOU in place under which we continue to explore new pathways for our graduates who continue their education, such as possible 2+2 programs for students seeking to become teachers. The TMUC delegation included Dean Linda Villarreal, Chair Monica Ratcliffe, as well as members of the Advising and Education Prep Program. I want to thank Dr. McCormack, Dr. Alves, and Ms. Vanessa Vasquez for their ongoing work in this effort. Now, as we prepare for the start of the new academic year, the Office of Strategic Enrollment hosted a 3-day conference to provide professional development to our partner high school counselors and administration in July. During the workshops, they were immersed in information that will help their students transition seamlessly to TSC. Sessions included information about registration, dual enrollment, workforce training, and academic programs. We had a great turnout with counselors representing more than 20 schools, and we look forward to continuing our work together in the coming years. I want to thank Ms. Vanessa Vasquez and her team for continuing to strengthen our partnerships with our secondary schools. Now, the Student Services Division also continues to seek innovative ways to assist our communities in assessing higher education. On August 8th, they piloted a new initiative aimed at hosting BISD Graduate Days, or Graduate Day for students that just graduated this May. We welcome recent high school graduates to campus for personalized assistance in registering for the fall semester. We even extended our office hours to ensure they received the help they needed. Now, it is worth mentioning that as the word about this pilot project spread throughout the community, graduates from schools across our services, our entire service area, also came to take part in the event and register for classes. So once again, I want to thank Dr. David Plummer and his staff under him for initiating new programs. Now, the recruitment staff also took part in the Cameron County Bar Association's Foster Angel and Clothing Drive event on August 3rd. During the event, they helped participants learn more about the TSC programs and how to register. So thank you, Vice Chair Sines, for connecting us to this event. And to anyone listening out there, if there's a community we can tap to, go and tell the good word about Texas Southmost College, please reach out to us and we'll be happy to go and visit. Last Saturday, we hosted Sting Day to mark the beginning of a new school year. the student athletes were introduced and we were treated to women's and men's soccer scrimmages. Thank you, Madam Chair, Trustee Camarillo, and Trustee Garcia for your support, and thank you for Dr. Ponce for his team for showcasing the Scorpion spirit. In addition to Sting Day, the Student Services Division has been hard at work hosting a number of events designed to engage our students. This includes weekly workshops with the Office of Career Employment Services, 3 new student orientation sessions, the Summer Employment Connections, July 4th celebration, registration roundup, and the Waffle Wednesdays and snow cones. All of them great hits. And now, at this time, for this month's video highlighting the activities that have occurred since we last met, I would like to ask the team to please roll the video. Well, in closing, I would like to thank our Board of Trustees. It's been a busy time of the year with many special meetings and budget workshops. So on behalf of our faculty, staff, and students, we truly appreciate your commitment and support to the college and the communities that we serve. And in addition, I want to thank the entire campus community for their dedication in preparing for a new academic year. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to go to item number 6, and I think we're going to have an issue with one of the minutes because Dr. Saleta's not here, so we won't have the floor to pass. So I'm going to skip those.
Yes.
Do I have to table them or just skip them?
You can table them.
I'll table? Okay.
Motion to table.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to table the minutes for June the 20th, 2024, because we won't have a quorum to pass those. So we'll bring them back next board meeting.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sines, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? You all got it? All's in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of June 26, 2024 as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Camarillo, second by Dr. Harris. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. And the last one is I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of July 3rd, 2024 as presented.
So move. Second.
Motion by Dr. Harris,
Second.
second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item number 7, consideration and possible action on approval of the Texas Southmost College District budget for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. And I'll call on Dr. Figueroa to present.
What about number 8?
Number what? 7. We're on 7, no? Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you have the budget for fiscal year 24-25. We started this budget process back in February, and we're here to present the last copy of for your approval tonight. We've also had a tax rate timeline, and that will be presented to you on the next item for your consideration and approval of our tax rate. We have before you the revenue for our educational and general expenses for fiscal year 25, and we have a comparison from the prior year as well as a variance on your budget. We have presenting a budget to you that is balanced. The total revenue that we're expecting to bring next fiscal year will be $57,362,476. This budget includes state appropriations, our ORP appropriation, tuition and fees, workforce revenue, and the minor things like the Scorpion Cam, lease revenue, interest income, dual credit reimbursement, as well as child care income. This is the first time that we move, or we are bringing back the child care into instruction. That's why you see that difference in the variance. For the expenses, we have the bond payments, general institution, and the FLSA possible increase pool that include what we are expecting to bring as far as expenses for next year. And then we have each one of the divisional budgets with the corresponding variance. And at the end, the expenses and the revenues that we're projecting are balanced. Are there any specific questions on? I'll continue with the auxiliary revenue. And we're projecting revenue of $2,419,321 for fiscal year 25. You have also what was approved for fiscal year 24, as well as the variance. The main change, again, is that revenue that moved from auxiliary to ENG with the daycare. You have a balanced budget where the expenses that are being projected are that $2,419,321. Just like in the prior budget, your expenses include what we're budgeting for the budget, for the bond payments, general institution support, and FLSA possible increase, as well as the budgets for each one of the divisions.
Any questions? No? Okay. Motion? your microphone.
I move to approve the Texas Southmost College fiscal year 2024-2025 operating budget as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second.
There's a motion by Ms. Science, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? Okay. I'm pleased to report that the approved. Oh, I gotta pass, they gotta pass, oh, that issue, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. I'm pleased to report that the approved budget includes 2% raise for all full-time employees. ¿Qué más me dio aquí, Mr. President?
And a $2,500, oh yeah, first of all,
And a 2,500
And-
for,
it's an additional $2,500 for each full-time faculty for their professional development. Yeah. That deserves another clap.
and the professional development is important because just as the board, we like to travel and go learn new things and bring them back, I think our employees should too. And Dr. Saleta's not here, but I know he would be happy to see this pass because he believes in training. Okay? ¿Dónde estamos?
Number 8.
Number 8. Consideration and possible action on the adoption of the 2024 TSC District Ad Valorem tax. And Dr. Figueroa, you're on again.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you, for your consideration, have the proposed tax rate. Now that you have passed and approved the budget for next fiscal year, we need to do the approval of that property tax rate. Out of the three rates that were proposed, the board chose to recommend to the community that they were considering the border approval rate, which is an M&O rate of 0.093166 and a death rate of 0.021951 for a total rate of 0.115117. This is $115.12 for every $100,000 property valuation, compared to prior year rate of $119.77 for every $100,000 valuation. The difference is $4.65 for that $100,000 valuation.
So it actually went down, except our values went up.
It is a lower rate than the one that we're currently having. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I move to adopt a maintenance and operations tax rate of 0.093166 and a debt tax rate of 0.021951 for $100,000 of valuation.
I second that.
Motion by Ms. Science, second by Ms. Aldrete. I'm happy to report that since I've been on the board, we've never raised taxes.
Thank God.
Very good.
So, okay, I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Ya acabamos con el business. Finance Committee. Ms. Science?
Consideration and possible action on approval of Budget Amendment 24-004 to recognize excess revenue in the amount of $2,621,187. I call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Science. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration, you have a budget amendment 2404 for fiscal year 24, this current fiscal year. This proposed increase, its excess revenue that the college has been able to collect. And we have several projects for which we're hoping you consider this budget amendment. The different revenue sources include tuition and fees, interest income, tax collections, and fast money that we receive for the spring and summer semesters. The funds, the $2,621,187, the projects that we have for your consideration is the installation of the chillers, IT upgrades for classroom and labs, an infrastructure upgrade, as well as the pipe fitting lab build-out and expansion.
Okay. Motion?
Okay, I move to approve Budget Amendment 24-004, fiscal year 2024 as presented.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Zines, second by Dr. Harris. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Okay, next item, consideration and possible action on contract extension with Telespace LLC for telecommunication services. I call on Mr. Luis Villarreal to present.
Thank you, Ms. Science, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. Yes, before you, you have a recommendation to extend our current contract with Telespace that has been providing us telecommunication services for the last 5 years. I can't remember if it was a special board meeting or the regular board meeting in June, but that is when the Board of Trustees approved the results of a request for proposal for new telecom services for the institution. You can see we went through an RFP to determine that whether or not we were going to stay with Telespace or move to a different service. And in fact, T-Mobile was the recommendation and was approved by the board. We've actually already started discussing the migration with T-Mobile, but as I mentioned back in June, we were going to have to extend with Telespace because the migration process could take 6 to 8 months, in particular because we also have a contact center through the Cisco Unified Services that we get through Telespace. Cisco would not do a contract extension for less than 6 months, so what we're recommending is that we do, in fact, extend the contract with Telespace for the 6 months that will take us through February of 2025 to ensure that we can migrate our telephony services over to T-Mobile. And so we will actually have 2 telephone companies for the time being, but for now, we will still be on Telespace at the beginning of this term. And anticipate we'll finish before the 6 months, but it does give us some breathing room.
Okay, thank you. I move to approve the contract extension for transition services with Telespace LLC for telecommunication services through RFP 19-21 awarded on October 2019 and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
I second.
Motion by Ms. Zines, second by Dr. Harris. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, could I just, one question, and you might have said it, I think I might have missed it. So within those 6 months that we have both, we're still obligated to pay T-Mobile, correct?
Yeah, T-Mobile is a 5-year contract.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you.
Will we have better service?
We better?
2?
Oh, no. No, I wish it worked that way, but no. But I'm hopeful that with T-Mobile, we will have improved service. Also, I may have mentioned this in June, but we do have a cellular problem on this campus, so I'm hoping that T-Mobile can help us down the road with our improved cellular service through a distributed antenna system or something like that. Whole other project, though.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 9C, consideration and possible action on contract approval for professional services with Target X through RFP 21-05 for customer relationship management, student success platform. I call on Mr. Luis Villarreal to present.
Thank you, Ms. Sines, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. This particular item is a contract with Target X, which is one of our customer relationship management systems that the board approved us to purchase, I think, about almost 4 years ago now, that is in use in the student services area. This is an agreement with them to purchase some professional services from TargetX directly. And just to give a little flavor to this, TargetX actually sits on top of the Salesforce platform. And you may have heard of Salesforce, right? We have, obviously, a Lucian colleague as our main student system. And what we've been doing over the last 3 or 4 years with TargetX is integrating that platform with Colleague. As we've added more and more applications, for example, we just bought a new texting service through a company called Mongoose Cadence. It's two-way texting for students. You also approved that recently. There are Salesforce integrations with that. And so on. Even T-Mobile is a Salesforce partner, so as we implement T-Mobile, we may be able to integrate with TargetX. So what I'm asking for is to purchase some services which would occur over the entire next fiscal year with TargetX to augment my staff's ability to support TargetX. And one of the reasons we're doing that is we are now going to be bringing the workforce area on board with TargetX. They're going to start using it. And also, in June, you may recall, some of you, that we are moving Colleague into the cloud over the next 18 months through the software as a service piece with Lucian, that's the SaaS piece. We're going to be heavily devoted in my area to do that migration. So I need some help, basically, in the IT area to augment our ability to support both workforce and student services with all these new applications.
Very good. I move to approve contract with TargetX for professional service in the amount of $50,000 through RFP 21-05, awarded on April 2021, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
I second.
I have a motion by Ms. Saenz, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, just one question.
Yes.
Dr. Vidal, the success of...
I'm not a doctor,
I'm
but I
sorry.
play one on TV.
Oh, well,
Thank you,
take
though.
that. We'll take
I'll
Mr.
accept the
Vidal.
promotion. Dr. Rodriguez, let's meet in the morning. He calls me doctor all the time, yeah.
natural, I guess.
I'm not even a PA like our new board member.
Correct.
Yeah.
So TargetX, so on so the last 4 years that we've contracted with them, the services that they have provided, successful for the campus?
Yes, I can't speak to all the functional uses, but yeah, remember, we were going through a pandemic in the middle of this, and we actually, you may not be aware of this, but we implemented 2 different customer relationship management platforms at the same time. I came to the board 4 years ago or so to ask for one of the 2. They approved both of them. TargetX is what we use for recruiting. So that's the Salesforce piece. We use a product called EAB, Education Advisory Board, Starfish, for retention. And so part of the deal is, we really exacerbated the limits of our end users to learn both platforms over those years. It's been live for a while now, and I mean, I can defer to Dr. Plummer or somebody else for the actual uses, but yeah, they're using the product.
Thank you.
Good question, thank you.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera.
Next item, 9D, consideration and possible action on approval of matching grant support for the AmeriCorps Vista Grant. I call on Dr. Stella Garcia and Dr. Angela McCauley.
Good evening, Chair Garza, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. This is an item that was brought in January that the board approved match. And for the new board members, any grant that we bring or want to apply for that requires a match, requires board approval. So it was previously approved. There is an increase, and I'm going to, with your permission, ask Dr. McCauley to explain what is changing.
Good evening, Madam Chair, President Rodriguez, and trustees. We're in our 5th year of our AmeriCorps grant, and as Dr. Garcia mentioned, the board approved a match for this grant of a living allowance in January. AmeriCorps made the decision to give the Vistas a little cost of living bump, and so that's what this cost match is asking. We pay the living allowance for 1 Vista out of every 4 that we sponsor. Yeah, I'm sorry. The total that we're asking for an increase is $2,082.
Move to approve?
I move to approve an increase of $2,082 in matching grant support for a total of $24,962 for the 2024-2025 TSC AmeriCorps Vista Grant Project.
I have a motion.
I second that.
Motion by Ms. Sines, second by who? You? Dr. Harris? Any discussion?
Can you tell us a little bit about the $40,000 grant,
Where are you?
please?
Thank you for that question. In addition to the vistas that we are awarded, the AmeriCorps also offers us a $40,000 grant that we draw down for our supervisors' time and effort. So that money can be used to offset the match.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item, consideration and possible action on approval of the proposed tuition and fee schedule for fiscal year 2025. Dr. Figueroa?
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration is the tuition and fee schedule for fiscal year 25. As you have on your packets, each one of the tuition and fees, and there are two columns, one that has the 24 and the other one the 25. So the only things that are changing in, let me note that tuition and fees are not, the main mandatory fees are not increasing. The increase comes into the pass through for testing and certifications. So anything that it's in your column for 25, it's what is increasing, like this one. It's a network administration. In order for that course to be offered that certification, the price of the exam has gone up. So we do not put a markup on them. We just basically pass the cost of that to the student. One of the reasons why it's part of the tuition and fees is because that way the student is able to utilize their financial aid to cover those charges. If they're not a mandatory charge to that class, then they will not be able to cover it with that. So by the time they graduate, they're able to have these certifications. So those are the only changes that are being proposed, is anything that we did not have before. And new, it's the welding credit program. So that's why there is a new also course fee for that, certification for the welding program, as well as a uniform fee for those programs that will have uniforms.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. I move to approve the proposed tuition and fee schedule effective fall 2025.
Motion by Ms. Sines,
Second.
second by Dr. Harris. Discussion?
So, on clinical registered nursing, that went up almost by more than $800. That's a test fee as well?
Yes, it's part of the certification and testing and the review materials to pass those exams.
Okay.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item.
Ya mero.
9F, monthly financial statement report for the month ended June 30th, 2024. Dr. Figueroa and Mr. Carlos Becerro.
Thank you, Ms. Sines. With your permission, I will have Mr. Pacero present the monthly financial statement.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa.
We
Madam
missed you,
Chair.
Mr. Pacero. We've missed you.
Thank you. I've missed you too. Let's see. Members of the board, President Rodriguez, I have for you the monthly financial statement report for a combined May and June period. As we normally present, we have the activity type along the left-hand side, and I'll mainly concentrate my presentation on these two columns here for May and June. So I'll begin with revenue in general fund, and we see here at the bottom of the report, we have 3 million, I'm sorry, wrong, 3 million for May and 7 million for June. That's revenue for general fund. Now we're moving on to expenditures. So we do have two subtotals for May and June, 2 million and 1.5 million respectively in salaries and wages, and for benefits, 551,000 and 443,000. The M&O category begins here and concludes on this slide, and we have two subtotals, 1.6 million and 1.3. So that was M&O. Now we're on travel and general institutional, and those subtotals can be seen here, 6,000 and 9,600. For the general institutional subtotals, 166,000 and 149,000. Last slide for general fund. We have our expenditures, 4.5 million and 3.4 million. And we have a recap for our budget amendment categories. Now on auxiliary fund, we will start with revenue, where we have 373,000 and 105,000 respectively. For the auxiliary fund, we have two subtotals, 52,000 salaries and wages, 43,000 in June. Benefits, we have 12,000 and 12,000 respectively. The M&O category concludes here on this slide. 55,000 for the month of May, 69,000 for the month of June. And our last slide for auxiliary fund, 121,000 and 125,000 for May and June respectively. So the last of the three funds now. Debt service revenue, 81,000 and 75,000 for those respective months, and there are no expenditures for May or June. I have for you the health benefit detail, and we can see the respective totals are 2 million and 51,000 for that period ended 6/30. And then the last section of this report has the debt service tables, and there's no changes to these tables since the last time that we presented them. If there's any questions, I'd like to try and answer those.
Any questions?
Can
Go ahead.
you, just in a nutshell, tell us exactly what the auxiliary fund is? I know it's different from the others.
Yes, they are. And that fund is meant to capture other auxiliary type of activities. So the revenue and the expenditures related to, for example, the rec center. Rec center is not part of our normal operations, so we are required to account for that in a separate fund, separate cost center. So the revenue associated with that and the expenditures associated with that will be displayed in that fund. So other types of services, kind of like what Dr. Figueroa had mentioned in the budget, where there are certain either leases of spaces or vending machine revenue, that type of activity will be reflected there as well. There is also one student fee that is reported in there, and that is the rec center fee. So that'll help pay for our debt service, which we transfer out and which Dr. Figueroa covered in the transfer section of the budget that she presented. So a couple of different items, but it's meant to cover those items that are not state appropriated monies or not part of our tuition and fee regular operations. Those separate items that don't have as many restrictions associated with them.
Thank you.
So my question doesn't have a page number, but under expenses, security general, and then below that is security offers PD. So is it security officers, Bronzo Police Department, or is it security in general? Kind of why the two?
Good
the
eye, sir.
difference?
And that is exactly as you mentioned.
Good question.
Yeah, good question, good eye.
Is that what they would be together unless there's two separate contracts?
There are two separate,
Okay.
because of the hybrid model that we have. So we have our security services, and then we also contract with Brownsville PD. So we account for those separately, sir.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
This item is for information only, no action required. Item 9G, third quarter investment report for fiscal year 2024. Dr. Gisela Figueroa and Mr. Carlos Becerro.
Thank you, Ms. Hans. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you have the investment report for the third quarter, this activity is as of...
Excuse me. Do you have a question?
Yes,
Mrs. Zarate?
we're not gonna go over how many days we have in our fund balance? We're doing away with it?
Who's missing?
That has not changed, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
since
I might just ask randomly. You don't have to put it every month. You don't have to put it in
195
I was
days
like, where is it?
are still in operation. I think it was on the financial one sheet, but it was not explained with the dates. We'll make sure we add that.
Yeah, like not-
stuff. Our auditors are back and they will start auditing the fiscal year as we
Perfect.
begin. And then that fund balance number will change at that time because the number that we're presenting is still as of audited 8/31/23. And then we will have an updated number for you to know.
Perfect.
So as we speak, we have auditors here, and they will continue start to work as we end the fiscal year, and we'll begin working on an annual financial statement.
Thank you.
A little bit of info for the new trustees. Mr. Herrera
Sir.
always wanted to know how many days we had.
Yes, can we
better not spend money.
195, ma'am.
195.
195, and that will not change unless
could
the board
operate for 185
approves
days.
something from the fund balance.
Okay, so that's 195 days that we can operate the school without any income coming in, but just keep
Yes.
working with.
Yes,
We could
ma'am.
spend some of that we could spend for projects.
195. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
That's basically the savings account.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
This time from, not yet?
She hasn't done it?
Ay, perdón.
I stopped her
This is the third quarter investment report. It's, we presented every quarter since we did not have a meeting last month. It's a little delayed, but this is the quarter ending as of May 31st. The report in detail is in the bottom, but we summarize it on the little box that we have at the top. It has each one of the type of funds that we have with the amount at the end of each quarter. That is what the college has as much as 91,900,000 at the end of May 31st. And then in the bottom, we have a comparison of the interest that has been earned on the funds, 849,000, and then 1,000,006, and 1,037,000 this last quarter. So this is the interest that is being earned on those funds throughout the year. And that's summarized on top. In the bottom, you have each one of the bank accounts and the respective balances, as well as the amount of interest that each one of those is giving us in detail for you on the next few slides. And we also have a listing of all the different CDs that we currently have with the different banking institutions and the amount that each of them has, as well as their maturity. And a list of everything that has matured since the board adopted to start doing investments with the income back in May of 2019. The list keeps growing, and as of July 31st, we had almost $3.9 million in interest that has been generated from those CDs, those investments. We also include a list of the different banks for your information that we solicit every time that we have funds available for CDs.
This item is for information only, no action is required. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
You done?
Yes.
Could I just ask one question?
Go ahead.
The TC loan, can you explain what that is, the loan fund?
The loan fund. It's funds that can be used for student loans that the student pays back to the college if if they meet a specific criteria.
Do we have students on the loan program, or?
We have very few that qualify for those funds.
Okay. Thank you.
Item number 10, Facilities Committee. Mr. Camarillo?
Yes. All right, good evening. The Facilities Committee met via Zoom on Monday, August 19, 2024. Present were Madam Chair Garza, Trustee Garcia, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items: 10A, consideration and possible action to award RFP 24-18 for Internet Protocol IP-based surveillance camera and door access control. I'd like to call Dr. Garcia to present. And Ms. Tuttle.
Good evening, Chair Garza, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. With your permission, I'm going to ask Ms. Keela Tuttle to present this item.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. I'm here today to present to you RFP 2418 for Internet Protocol-based surveillance camera and door access control systems. This RFP went out for bids in May. The timeline is as follows. We are now proposing to you. So the scope of work for this particular project, the backstory, there was a first phase of this project where we began upgrading our camera surveillance system, software that went along with it, and our access controls for our doors. They were all out of date. The board approved that back in September of 2020. We had updated at that time 285 cameras campus-wide and 149 access doors. Today, I am presenting to you the continuation of upgrading those cameras. So what we are wanting to do with this portion is we want to completely take offline the old system. We want to take all of the cameras off of there. We want to migrate everything over to our new system that you approved back in September, along with upgrading the end-of-life cameras that may have been transferred over to that system. We also want to implement more access control throughout the buildings that did not receive the access control, as well as implementing a campus lockdown system. This system would allow us in the security office to remotely lock down any building with a real quick touch of like a button in the event that we needed to lock down. The evaluation committee is as follows. There were 7 submissions for this project. The proposed equipment is as follows. These cameras are cameras that are compatible with our systems, and they are ones that we have identified as a need for this project. These are our proposed camera locations. As you can see, it's there's going to be a little bit of upgrades in mostly every building, upgrades and additions. All submissions were evaluated based on our evaluation criteria. The green shows the strengths of the company that will be recommended for this evening. And the expenses coming from budget for fiscal year 23-24.
So I move that we award RFP 24-18 for Internet Protocol IP-based surveillance camera and door access control to International Global Solution Corporation in the amount of $857,579 plus 5% contingency to cover unforeseen events, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
A motion by Mr. Camarillo,
Second.
second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion?
I have a question. Are these 27 cameras only for outdoor use, or will some be placed in the buildings?
No, there'll be some inside as well.
There's going to be more than 27 cameras.
Yes, more than 27
Okay.
cameras. Those are just the 27 buildings that'll receive the cameras.
Okay, I might do a Mr. Herrera, it's too much money.
No, porque dice 27 cameras cuando dije que yo.
Can I have a motion and a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Thank you. And B?
10B, consideration action to award RFP 24-20 for thermal plant pre-purchase equipment replacement. Dr. Garcia?
Yes. Good evening again, Chair Garza, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. Again, actually, before I start talking, Mr. Moscoto, I'm inviting Mr. Ronnie Robles, if he can come up. He's our new Director of Operations Facilities. Some of you may have met him. He started last week, comes to us from the Corpus Christi area, and so we are looking forward to his leadership in the department. So you will be seeing his face. And then I also, for this particular item, on the cooling tower installation, asked Mr. Cesar Gonzalez as well to join us. He's with Ethos Engineering, and they were the company that put the specs together for this, in case you all have questions. And so, let me confirm with Danny, when I go, is the video gonna start, or not yet? After this one? Okay. So at the committee meeting, I talked a little bit about the history of this particular RFP and the cooling tower equipment. And so, there it is. So as you are watching the video, this is Mr. Moscoto's favorite video. He watches it probably every hour. What you're seeing there, and he can give you more specifics, those are the cooling towers, those big units, those silver with the fans, those two pieces. On August 17, 2023, this board, you approved the purchase of these cooling towers. Perry Mechanical was the vendor that was selected. Those cooling towers cost $959,685. This was approved in August of 23. Those did not get delivered until June and July of this year. And so in March 28th, 2024, this board approved our RFQ on on-call vendors for architects and engineers. So you approved a pool of engineers because we knew we would be bringing projects to you, so we wanted to expedite some of that. And so one of the firms that was approved on March 28th was Ethos Engineering. And so on June 20th, 2024, they were selected for this particular project to build the specs for the RFP so that we can find a vendor to actually install those units. And so they developed the plans, they put the RFP together with our purchasing department, and those 5 fans on top of that open building, those are the cooling towers that will be replaced. So imagine the logistics and all the engineering work to take out the old and put in the new. And I did that very simply. There's a lot more detail, obviously, in the specs that they put together. But I wanted to give you that history because that's just one project of many that are coming related to the cooling towers. And if you have any questions regarding the specifics of that, these gentlemen are here to answer. I'm just going to talk from the RFP standpoint. There were, those are the plans, and I don't know if anyone, but there were, obviously there's the individuals that evaluated the proposals that were received, included Mr. Cesar Gonzalez, who was part of the evaluation team. And 3 proposals were received, and you can see the one in green is the recommended vendor. And as I mentioned during the committee meeting, this particular table for our new board members, every time there's an RFP, you're going to see the same table. Those are the specs. And what's highlighted in green is typically the areas of strength in the proposal that's being recommended. So you have those areas listed there. And so I'm going to stop talking and actually I can answer this question. The project says it's contingent upon funding. The budget amendment you just approved covers this project. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Moscoto or any of these gentlemen that they can give you specifics on the project.
Hi, good evening, members of the board. I can talk about the uniqueness of the project and the complexity. It is a project that requires that the plant and the cooling has no shutdown. So that was part of the uniqueness and the challenges that we have to put the contractors to bid, that the school could not afford to shut down the plant for the installations of the cooling towers. The other part was the electrical portion that are associated with connecting the cooling towers. Also, there could not be a shutdown on the utilities as well. And I'm mentioning these things because that was a main conversation during the pre-bid with the contractors, that they have to be aware of the challenges, so that when they put the bids together, they should have included the methodology to comply with those requirements. I mean, I'm here to answer any technical questions there may be.
I think it's way over our heads.
Yes. You're talking Greek.
I just want to say that, once this gets approved, God willing, there'll be tremendous oversight, right, on our ends, on their ends, on the engineering end, to ensure that everything's going to go the way it needs to for the installation and the removal.
Yes. The logistics to get this project completed are they're huge. We're actually asking the contractor to protect the fence that area, to protect the students and the staff. And there will be a lot of activities going on. Yeah.
Thank you.
This is a big project. And I just need to say something, because somebody said Mr. Robles is new. No, you were new last week. You get 1 day of being new. Isn't that the case?
Well, I can just say I'm excited to be here. I'm going to contribute as much as possible. So I'm happy to be here and glad to be, hopefully add some value to this college and my team.
Mr. Moscoto has done an extremely good job, and we're very happy to have you as well, because I know this is a huge project, and we're looking forward to finishing it up.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Camarillo?
Welcome, sir. All right, I move to award RFP 24-20 for the thermal plant pre-purchase equipment replacement to Carrier Corporation in the amount of $1,130,000, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Camarillo, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
10C, facilities update. Dr. Garcia?
Thank you, Trustee Camarillo, Chair Garza, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. Mr. Moscoto will give the update on the chiller plant there for the rec center and Unit 2. I just want to add that there was an item on a previous agenda related to a utility easement that PUB was requesting. And so we gave an update here. It was previously tabled, but in the process of discovering what was needed, we learned that the easement requested is not on our property. So PUB is no longer requesting the easement from us. So I just wanted to give you that update.
Thank
And
you.
I'll turn it over to Mr. Moscoto with your permission to give you the rest of it.
Mr. Moscoto, show us.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, President Rodriguez. Well, here's the report on the progress of the construction of the chiller plants for rec center and daycare number 2. Here's the milestones. The electrical conduit is 100% complete and on both centers. All the structures, it's going to be a little bit of delay on the chiller delivery, but we're still waiting to receive them by September the 16th. In the meantime, the mechanical contractor is advancing on the installation of the chilled water lines, and they're expecting to complete it by next week. Okay, here are the images of both plants, part of the equipment, penetrations on the wall. All these works are being inspected regularly by the engineers and city inspectors. So everything is being according to code. And that's the end of my report. Any questions?
Nada.
So this item is for information only. No action is required.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Moscoto. Are you done? Are you done?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. We are
11.
11, Academics Committee. Ms. Aldrete?
The Academic Committee met on Monday, August 19. Present were Chair Garza, Trustee Zabaleta, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC Admin and College Legal Counsel. 11A, consideration and possible action on agreement between Texas Southmost College and Cameron County through its county judge for use of county airport. Mr. Mesquias.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Board of Trustee members, President Rodriguez, this is a consideration for an agreement, an MOU between Texas Southmost College and Cameron County Airport through its county judge for the use of the county airport. The purpose of the agreement is to allow TSC to provide safety police training courses, exercises at the airport for a fee of $100 a day. This agreement has been reviewed and approved by the College Board of Trustees, Legal Counsel.
I move to approve the agreement between Texas Southmost College and Cameron County through its county judge for use of the county airport and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the agreement as presented.
Motion, Ms. Aldrete.
I second it.
Second by Dr. Harris. Any discussion?
Just one question. Mr. Mesquias, so how many days do you think in total that's going to be utilized, that we're going to need to access the airport runway?
So we've used it for 5 days in the fall, 5 days in the spring. So we've spent $1,000, $500 each time, and for each class.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
11B, consideration and possible action on approval of memorandum of understanding between the City of Harlingen, Texas Police Department, and Texas Southmost College for the Criminal Justice Academy Basic Peace Officer Certification Program.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, and President Rodriguez. This memorandum is between the Harlingen Police Department and the Texas Southmost College Criminal Justice Institute. We seek to strengthen this partnership, collaborate for our police officer certification program to all cadets enrolled in CGI in-service training for all Harlingen police officers. The MOU outlines the roles and responsibilities for Texas Southmost College, Criminal Justice Academy, and the City of Harlingen, Texas Police Department. Most notably, the CGI Academy will reserve slots for pre-hired police officers in exchange for Harlingen Police Department for hours that's required by the state for certification.
I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Harlingen, Texas Police Department, and Texas Southmost College for the Criminal Justice Academy Basic Peace Officer Certification Program and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Dr. Harris. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
11C, consideration and possible action to approve an affiliation agreement with Texas Southmost College and Rio Grande Regional Hospital.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. I have with me our new Dean of Health Professions. I would like to introduce Dr.
He's not
Herminio
new
Guerrero.
either.
He's not that new.
Yeah.
Been here a couple of weeks. All right. This item I'm bringing for your consideration and possible approval is a renewal of our affiliation agreement with Rio Grande Regional Hospital for our allied health programs. The renewal is an agreement for these programs: vocational nursing, EMS, diagnostic medical sonography, radiology technology, and other programs. This agreement will be in effect for 3 years. The proposed renewal of our agreement has been reviewed and approved by TSC Legal Counsel and Board of Trustees Legal Counsel.
I move to approve the affiliation agreement with Texas Southmost College and Rio Grande Regional Hospital for health profession programs and authorize President Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
I second.
I have a motion, Ms. Aldrete, second by Dr. Harris. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
This concludes my report for Academic Committee.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete.
Policy Committee.
No, because we have policy.
Sorry.
No,
Student Services.
student services.
Yo estaba alborotada con mi papelito aquí.
Student services, Dr. Harris.
The Student Services Committee met on Monday, August 19, 2024. Present were Chair Garza, Trustee Garcia, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 12A, consideration and possible action on award RFP 24-17 for Charter Services Athletic Department. I will now call on Dr. David Plummer and Dr. Armando Ponce to present the item.
Dr. Lopez Harris, thank you. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Unfortunately, Dr. Ponce is actually on a bus with the soccer team. One of them is going to Louisiana, the other one's going to Trinity Valley. So I'm here to present today. So same thing as you've seen in the other RFPs, the schedule of when it was published back in May and now bringing it back to the Board of Trustees. So again, these buses are just to take our soccer team to the games that are out of the area, just for bus-related areas. We just want to make sure that, the buses are in good shape, that they're serviceable, they provide us a good service, that they have TVs, they have Wi-Fi. Some of these are pretty long drives when you start going out to LSU, Eunice, Tyler, some of those colleges as well. And if you look here, here are the games that we're going to be covering with this for the fall. And again, here's who on the evaluation committee. So there was 3 respondents. When I talked to Dr. Ponce, Red Charter Buses was the best. Seemed like they were going to give us a good level of service. They had Wi-Fi in the buses. They had TVs. Seemed like they had, good quality buses and all those kind of things. So came up the highest score, and they were recommended. You can see the bus, that looked very nice. And like the other RFPs, highlights in green are what they were strong in. And the expense will be coming from next year's budget. We have budgeted for the buses in the athletics budget. So we're hoping that the board will approve our charter bus contract.
Thank you. I move to award RFP 24-17 for Charter Services Athletic Department to Red Charter Buses, LLC, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
Second.
A motion by Dr. Harris, second by Mr. Camarillo. Any discussion?
Very nice buses. I hope we get that blue with orange. It matches our color.
Yes, it was very nice buses. I think Dr. Ponce mentioned he saw them himself and that they were really
That was the
great.
question at the committee meeting is, have you seen the buses?
It'd be nice if they had the logo on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the students are going to be very comfortable.
We'll take some cans of spray paint out before we leave.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay, I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is 12B, consideration and possible action on a memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College and Texas Women's University. I will now call on Dr. Brian McCormick to present this item.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez Harris. This item I'm bringing for your consideration, again, is an MOU between Texas Southmost College, Texas Women's University. The intent of the MOU is to facilitate the seamless transition and transfer of our students and their academic credits from TSC to TWU's baccalaureate programs. During this period, Texas Women's University stipulates that all regular credit courses completed with a grade of C or better will be articulated. Graduates who are certified core complete will be considered to have met TWU's general education requirements as well, and they will be admitted as juniors into the college. They will, all the policies relating to financial aid, academics, advising, graduation will apply to TSC transfers as their own students who started at the university. The MOU will be reviewed annually, and the MOU has been reviewed by TSC Legal Counsel and the Board of Trustees Legal Counsel.
Thank you. I move to approve the MOU between Texas Southmost College and Texas Women's University and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the agreement as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Harris, second by Ms. Aldrete. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Aldrete.
Policy Committee.
It's time. Finally.
Yeah, me lo broté. Okay, Policy Committee met on Monday, August 19. President were Chair Garza, Vice Chair Sines, President Rodriguez, and myself. Also members of TSC Admin, College, and Board Legal Counsel. 13A, consideration and possible action on revision of CF local purchasing and acquisition. I call on Mr. Frank Perez.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Aldrete, Madam Chair, and President Rodriguez, you have before you a slight change to CF local, which is the local policy for TSC, which governs the purchasing limits and approvals for purchases, okay? Now, the one change that is found is found on the top of page 2, and it deals with purchasing contracts valued at $50,000 or more. The old policy, of course, says that purchasing contracts for $25,000 or more shall be, that the college president or designee shall make a recommendation to the board, and the board shall make the final decision. The proposal is to increase the $25,000 to $50,000, and the board, for the new members of the board has considered this a couple of times in the past and has not decided to do it. The committee feels that it's time to make the change to increase that limit from $25,000 to $50,000 that requires board approval, and that's the suggestion and recommendation. Thank you.
So I move to approve the policy revisions as presented for CF local.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete.
I second.
Second by Ms. Sines. Discussion?
I want to add that things have drastically gone up in price, so it is time to make this move.
Yep, I agree. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
This concludes my report.
Thank you. Executive session. The board will now convene an executive session as provided by Government Code, Chapter 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. We're now in executive session. Back from executive session. Ahí nos faltaba uno. Junior counsel. I'm going to recall item number, what, 9?
9E.
9E. We're going to redo the motion.
I move to amend the action taken on agenda item 9E today as follows. To approve the proposed tuition and fee schedule for fiscal year 2025.
I have a motion by Ms. Sines, second by Mr. Camarillo. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Executive session item.
I move that the board authorize the salary schedule for fiscal year 2024, 2025 as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. ¿Ya acabamos?
Yeah.
We're done.
adjourn?
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna look at, I need a motion to adjourn, but wait, I haven't.
The next
Next,
meeting?
next board meeting, regular board meeting, September the 19th. You're gonna have to wait till the 19th to celebrate your birthday.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, and everybody's okay with that day? And then regular board meeting, October 17th,
Got it.
okay? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
By Mr. Camarillo, second by Mr. Aldrete. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Stand adjourned.